You're listening to The Main Street Deal, part of Main Street Media. So I'm Jordan. It's Monday, July 20th, 2026. Today, we're walking through one real listing on the market right now. Today's listing is a laundromat. It's a semi-absentee coin and card laundry in the New York City metro area in New York State. The broker lists it as long established, running with a small part-time crew rather than a full-time owner behind the counter. Annual revenue comes in around $220,000, and the listing puts sellers' discretionary earnings, the owner's true take-home before financing, at about $90,000. The asking price is $340,000. This is a current BizBuySell listing. Let's start where I always start, with the multiple. $340,000 asking divided by 90,000 in SDE is a multiple of about 3.8. For a laundromat, that sits at the friendly end of the range. Half of the laundromats that trade on BizBuySell sell somewhere between roughly 3.5 and 6 times earnings, with the middle around 4.8. So on the sticker, 3.8 is not expensive. But a laundromat is a machine business and a lease business before it's an earnings business, and that's where the real work is. Here's the financing math. Run the standard way we run it on this show. An SBA 7A acquisition loan, 10% down, 9.3% interest, 10-year term. 10% down on $340,000 is $34,000 out of your pocket. You finance the other $306,000 at 9.3% over 10 years. That's a monthly payment of about $3,926. Annualize that, and your debt service is about $4,710 a year. Now subtract that from the $90,000 of SDE. What's left, your cash flow after the bank is paid, is about $42,900. Sit with that number. You put in $34,000, you take on a $300,000 personal guarantee loan, and in year one, the business pays you roughly $43,000 for your trouble before you've replaced a single dryer. That's the honest picture at this price. So the analysis comes down to 3 due diligence priorities, and for a laundromat, they're specific. First, verify the money. A laundromat's income is coins and card swipes, and that is the hardest revenue on Main Street to confirm. Do not take the $220,000 on faith. Ask for 24 months of card system reports, the coin collection logs, and the actual bank deposits, and match them line by line. If the seller can't produce them, that's your answer right there. Second, run the utilities. Water, sewer, and gas are the single biggest costs in this kind of business, and one thin month of bills can hide a fat problem. Get 12 to 24 months of actual utility statements and calculate utilities as a percentage of revenue. If it's creeping toward a third of sales, your 90,000 SDE is softer than it looks. Third, read the lease and count the machines. You own none of the ground under a laundromat. The lease is the business. Confirm the remaining term, the renewal options, and every rent escalator. Then walk the floor and note the age of every washer and dryer, because a full re-equip can run north of $150,000, and that cost lands on you, not the seller. Now the flags. The big yellow flag is the one I already named. Semi-absentee. Cash and card income is easy to overstate and hard to verify. The second yellow flag is the lease. If there are only a few years left on it, the whole deal changes, because no bank wants to write a 10-year loan on a business whose lease runs out in 3. Here's my verdict, and it's a binary call. At $340,000, financed on the full SBA stack. This one's a pass for most buyers, not because the multiple is bad. It isn't. But because a $43,000 cushion after debt is too thin to absorb one dead bank of dryers or one bad lease renewal. The single biggest reason for the call is that thin cushion sitting on top of revenue you can't easily verify. It flips to a pursue only if two things prove out. The collections are real when you match them to the bank deposits, and you can lock in a long lease and ideally shave the price or get the seller to carry a note so your debt service drops. And that's the one question to ask the broker before anything else. Can you send 24 months of card and coin collection reports and the utility bills, and exactly how many years are left on the lease with what renewal options? If the answer comes back slow or vague, you already know what to do. That's it for Monday. Find all of Main Street Media's shows wherever you listen. Subscribe, leave a review, and I'll see you Thursday for an operator story.